Hello and welcome to the Joseph Muse Property Market Roundup, where each month we take a closer look at the headlines that are impacting the property sector. So in this month's Industry Roundup, we're looking at the headlines that have impacted the market during February, and one of the highlights of those have been that Rightmove has reported its busiest January to date. So January is renowned for being one of the busiest months for the UK property market, and according to Rightmove, demand is up 16% on this time last year and 24% on January 2020. Now, Rightmove has reported that it had more than 218 million visits to its website and app in the space of 1 month, which has made it the busiest January to date. So, Callie, what do you think this means for the market that Rightmove is seeing this activity, and have we sort of seen the same?
Yeah, so I think, as you say, January is renowned for being a very busy month throughout the property industry. It's something that we've seen time and time again, and we have experienced again this year. I think there's a few reasons for that. I think, January is always a good time for people to start reassessing their goals. It's when people start making New Year's resolutions and starting to plan for the year ahead, looking for their hotspots and looking for what they want to do this year. One of the other interesting stats that we actually saw from that Rightmove report that you've mentioned is there's also been a rise in tenant demand of 17%, which is a really, really positive sign for investors that are in the market this year. It shows that tenant demand is building in key locations and means that there's a lot of appealing places to look to invest in the next 12 months.
Yeah, absolutely. It's only going to encourage more investors to turn to buy-to-let when they see the amount of demand that is in the market for the properties. That leads us nicely onto our second headline, which is that residential property continues to dominate Birmingham's skyline. So in Deloitte's latest Birmingham Crane survey, they saw a significant increase in the amount of construction happening across Birmingham. We can see it ourselves. You only have to look out the window and there's obviously a skyline dominated by new development. The amount of new projects breaking new ground hit 18, which is double that of 2020 figures, and it means there's currently 34 schemes happening across Birmingham. Callie, why do you think so many people have accelerated their developments in Birmingham city centre?
I think it's a really positive story, really. I mean, after the last couple of years, you saw things come to a little bit of a halt, things slowed down, and to start to see that coming back into the skyline is really nice, and it just shows the actual demand that's in the city. We've got a lot of important things happening that are coming up. We've got the Commonwealth Games this year. There's all the redevelopment of all the infrastructure and transport links. So it's an exciting time to be here. We ourselves have one of the development in Birmingham at the moment that is, hopefully got a crane on site, I think, at the moment. Lockside Wharf is our new waterfront development, which you can find out about online. But as well as that, as I say, when you look at Broad Street now compared to how it was 5-6 years ago, it is dominated by cranes. There's so many kind of tall residential buildings going up now. It really looks like a busy city.
Absolutely. Even driving into the city, you can see that it's not just the BT Tower dominating the skyline now. There is obviously a lot of other development. That sort of leads us to another headline that feeds into this, is that property supply, despite all of this construction, has still fell by 21%. So estate agents around the country are seeing drops of 20% in their listings and their stock. So estate agents in England and Wales had 33 properties on average last year, and now that's just 26. Callie, have you got anything to add that you think about this?
Yeah, so I think it's adding to that kind of supply and demand story that we were talking about earlier with Rightmove. I know from conversations with Rightmove, because we list on there, they've been saying that there's a lot of coming soon campaigns, a lot of activity, and although all that's happening, there is still that lag in supply of new developments, especially new builds. A lot sold out in those past couple of years when people have been moving around and starting to invest. So it's just us playing catch up now, I think, and I think it's going to take a while to stabilise.
Yeah, for sure. I think what we've seen is regionally there's been a lot of disparities as well. So London has seen an actual increase in supply just because a lot of people have been moving out of the city. Obviously, we spoke about that in past property market roundups. The Midlands, on the other hand, has seen the biggest fall in supply just because so many people are either buying or investing in the region. So that's actually down 24%, which is a huge number. And I think the final headline sort of feeds into this as an overall picture of the rental market. So UK rental growth has hit 8.3%. The average UK rents are up 3.7% on last quarter. And this has put the annual rental growth, as I say, at 8.3%, which is a huge increase. That means that rents have increased by around £62 since the start of the pandemic. Callie, what do you think this represents for the rental market?
So I think, again, this whole kind of conversation here has been a lot about supply and demand today. It's one of those where as soon as there's more demand in the market, it's going to push rents higher. And we've seen that although you had a lot of people move out of cities and out of apartments during that period, 2020 and 2021, now they are starting to move back in, starting to live those kind of city lives again, and rents will keep going up. And as you said, regionally we've seen kind of disparities as well. The Midlands is leading the way for growth over the last 12 months compared to kind of slower growth in London. So at the moment the Midlands are really presenting a great investment case for people looking for long-term sustained growth.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, it's just one of those things. Seems like we sort of bang the drum a little bit, but regional investment opportunities at the moment, if you are looking for long-term consistent returns, seems to be the option to go for, especially when sort of your southeast London markets are underperforming at the moment. Obviously, you can never count them out. London particularly will be seeing property price growth according to the experts over the next 4 years. But yeah, if you're looking for rental returns, then it seems the Midlands is the way to go right now. So that's all for this month's In Property Market Roundup. As always, if you're looking to find out more about property investment, you can find resources on our website, josephmuse.com. And if you're looking for more content like this, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks.